Is Jeff Bezos abandoning Earth to live in space? Many people have criticized him for investing in space travel, when he should be protecting the Earth with his money. But he recently responded to those critics. So what exactly did he say, and is he right? Let's dive in. Okay, so what did Bezos have to say about this? Jeff Bezos, the former CEO of Amazon and now one of the world's richest men, gave a speech at the Vatican last Friday accepting the Galileo Profits of Philanthropy Award. In his speech, he talked about the challenges facing humans and the Earth and his ideas for the short-term and long-term work needed. Some people ask me why, Bezos said. Why invest so much into space when there are so many problems to be solved on Earth? He continued, responding that investing in space wasn't abandoning the Earth. Instead, he said that it was the only way to protect our home and that we could access resources without harming the Earth by going to space. Earth is a garden that should be tended, he said. Bezos' comments come at a time when many people criticize billionaires for not using their money to solve problems like income inequality, climate change, and etc. However, Bezos argues that his investments in space will eventually benefit the Earth and help preserve it. We go to space not to abandon our home, but to protect it, he said. What about Blue Origin? Will that solve some of these issues? Jeff Bezos owns the aerospace company Blue Origin, which has been working on reusable rockets that could one day take people to space. The company's ultimate goal is to make space travel more affordable and accessible to everyone. When founded in 2000, the company's motto was, "For the benefit of the Earth." And while some people have criticized Bezos for investing in space instead of solving problems on Earth, he has always maintained that his ultimate goal is to help preserve our planet. Blue Origin's long-term goal is to move all polluting industries off Earth, Bezos said at the Vatican. That path is long, and we won't see its end in my lifetime. For his part, Bezos said he would like to do everything I can to build a road to space. Still, this seems to be a long way off, and many are skeptical that Bezos' investments will benefit the Earth. Only time will tell if he can make good on his promises, but it seems his intent is legitimate in wanting to help the planet. Has Bezos invested in helping the planet? Even though Bezos is majorly invested in space travel, that doesn't mean he hasn't put any of his money towards helping the planet. He has invested quite a bit in environmental causes. In almost all cases, it's the poor and vulnerable who are suffering most from these disasters, while they have done the least to cause them, Bezos said. Because of this, Bezos has previously founded and funded the Bezos Earth Fund. The fund gives away money to different environmental causes with the ultimate goal of helping preserve the planet. So far, the fund is set to give away over $10 billion to different organizations. During his speech, he revealed that the fund had already made 50 different grants to organizations working on various environmental causes. These include decarbonizing steel and cement and empowering indigenous communities to manage tropical forests. With the Bezos Earth Fund and his other investments, it's clear that Jeff Bezos is trying to do his part in helping preserve the planet. Only time will tell if his efforts are successful, but it's safe to say that he is committed to making a difference. Though he may be committed this way, many still think he's misguided. Is he? Well, we'll let you decide. But speaking of misgivings, William Shatner had a few things to say. William Shatner recently went to space on a Blue Origin flight and had some interesting things to say about the experience. In his new book, Boldly Go: Reflections on a Life of Awe and Wonder, Shatner describes his trip to space and how it made him feel. Shatner is an actor perhaps most famous for playing Captain Kirk in Star Trek, so it's almost ironic that he expressed his view of the trip in this way. "I love the mystery of the universe," he wrote. "All of that has thrilled me for years, but when I looked in the opposite direction, into space, there was no mystery, no majestic awe to behold. All I saw was death." Now 91 years old, Shatner is the oldest person to have traveled into space. He describes seeing a cold, dark, black emptiness, unlike anything on Earth. "My trip to space was supposed to be a celebration. Instead, it felt like a funeral," he wrote. "It was among the strongest feelings of grief I have ever encountered. The contrast between the vicious coldness of space and the warm nurturing of Earth below filled me with overwhelming sadness. This may be shocking at first glance, but it shouldn't be a surprise when you think about it. After all, space is a pretty dark and empty place. It's no wonder that Shatner felt this way on his trip." So, what is the overview effect? This effect is known as the overview effect, a cognitive shift many astronauts report feeling during spaceflight. It's a pretty interesting phenomenon and gives you a different perspective on things. The overview effect is the feeling of awe and wonder from seeing the Earth from space. It's caused by the realization that our planet is a tiny, fragile oasis in an infinite and hostile universe. Many astronauts have described the feeling as life-changing, and it's easy to see why. When faced with the vastness of space, it puts things into perspective. People who have never left the planet can only imagine what it's like to see Earth from space. But for those who have experienced it, it's something that they'll never forget. Did Shatner hate this experience though? Quite the contrary. It seems like like even though he had some misgivings, Shatner is still glad that he went on the trip. He even said that it was the most profound experience of his life. "What you have given me is the most profound experience," he told Jeff Bezos after the flight. "I hope I never recover from this. It's an experience that not many people get to have," and it sounds like it was pretty eye-opening for Shatner. It's interesting to see how he reacts to something like this at his age, and it just goes to show that you're never too old to learn something new. And with him telling CNN that he couldn't stop crying because he was grieving for the destruction of the Earth, it seems like this experience changed his perspective. It's something to think about the next time you look at the stars. So, what does all this mean? Although there are still plenty of things left to do on this Earth, many people are interested in space exploration. This is likely because of the many benefits that it could bring, like new resources and the ability to help preserve our planet. However, there are also some pretty significant risks involved in space travel. For one, it's a pretty dark and empty place, which can be pretty unsettling for some people. There's also the risk of never being able to come back, which is something to consider. Still, many people are willing to take the risk because of the potential rewards. I mean, this is something that has been a dream for many people for centuries, and it seems like we're finally on the cusp of making it a reality. And even though this may be criticized vastly, there's a good argument that space travel can help the environment if we can access resources without harming the Earth. Of course, only time will tell if this is the case, but it's something to think about. In the meantime, we can all enjoy the amazing pictures and videos that come back from space and marvel at the universe. Okay, let's sum it up. Jeff Bezos, the former CEO of Amazon and now one of the world's richest men, gave a speech at the Vatican and ultimately had a message for those criticizing him for investing in space travel instead of solving problems on Earth. He argued that investing in space wasn't abandoning the Earth and that we could access resources without harming the planet by going to space. However, William Shatner, an actor perhaps most famous for playing Captain Kirk in Star Trek, recently went to space on a Blue Origin flight and had some interesting things to say about the experience. This was his first time experiencing space, and he described seeing a cold, dark, black emptiness unlike anything on Earth. Although there are still plenty of things left to do on this Earth, do you think it could be more beneficial to humanity to focus on space exploration? Will space exploration help the environment? Go ahead and let us know in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.